Alright guys, so I just arrived in Namwon. Literally just came out from the train. So the plan is to go to Manbok Saji, which is a place where there used to be a Buddhist temple. So now we will pass through a small little village to get to the Manbok Saji. It's so calm. It's so calm. Even my voice is too loud right now. That's insane because we're like a minute away from the train station. The Manboksa itself, the temple, was built during the Goryeo period, but this place became really popular thanks to the author Kim Shi-sip, who made it famous through one of his poems. So Kim Shi-sip was like a prodigy in the early Joseon period, and apparently he could write and read, or at least read Hanmun, which is the Chinese characters, at 8 months of age, 8 months. But there's another version that says rather 3 years. So in any case, he could read Chinese characters, Hanmun, very young. Coming from a noble Yangban family, he was on his way to become a government official. But he didn't like the way that King Sejong took power from his nephew, the rightful heir of the throne, and instead decided to become a Buddhist monk. So while being a monk, he wrote the Gomo Shinhwa, which could be translated as New Stories of the Golden Turtle Mountain. One of these stories specifically is the Manboksa Jokpogi, which happened in this place. So let's check it out and I'll tell you the love story that happened at this place. 네, 저기요.
네.
네, 만복사지가 요구했는데
네.
지금 또 어떻게 들어갈 수 있어요?
지금 잠시만요. 지금 발굴조사 중이라서 지금 통행로를 만들어 놨거든요. 그래서 이렇게 일단 안으로 가셔서 이 낮은 그 테이프는 넘으셔가지고 가실 수 있어요.
그래서 이쪽으로 괜찮아요?
네, 이쪽은 괜찮습니다.
예, 알겠습니다.
네.
감사합니다. So the sign also talks about the story of Kim Shi-sip. Lets us know that there was a very big Buddha in the middle of this temple, and a wooden pagoda sadly burnt down during the Japanese invasions of the 16th century. It seems to me that if they keep excavating, in 10 years this place will be nicer and there will be more things to see. But for now, these are ruins, so there is no temple really except this structure over there. But as you can see here, this is like a mound and it was a bit elevated. So it feels to me like this was the center of this whole structure. You can see the city in the background. Okay, so let us begin this magnificent love story that happened in this very place. So way back in time, there was this guy called Yang. He was a student and a bachelor. Yang really wanted to get married. So he decided to come one day to this temple right here and ask for the Buddha to give him a wife. He played a game with the Buddha, which consists of just throwing sticks in the air and then according to the numbers, people win or lose. So before playing this game with the Buddha, he made a pact with him saying that if the Buddha wins, Yang will come and pray for Buddha for many years to come and also do all types of ceremonies to honor him. But if the Buddha loses, then he was to find a suitable woman for Yang to marry. So he played that game with the Buddha, and Yang won twice. So the Buddha asked him to wait in the temple until he meets that promised woman. And surely, soon enough, that woman came to the temple and she was asking Buddha some help in finding her a husband. She was saying that her house got attacked by Wegu, Japanese pirates, but she managed to survive and to keep her chastity, and then her parents put her in a very safe place and left her there. So she was waiting there, but after a long time she got bored and she wanted to meet a husband because her parents never came back. So then Bachelor Yang came out of where he was hiding in the temple and went to speak with this lady. And they really hit it off, and they had a great time. They started to joke a lot with each other, and then they spent the night together. And then the next day, the lady asked Yang if he wanted to go back with her to her area. Yang accepted, and while going there, Yang felt that people were being rude to her because they used to say hi to him, but not to her, kind of ignoring her, you know. So he didn't pay much attention to it anyways, and he went to her place. And then all of a sudden, the lady asks Yang if he wants to meet her parents. She basically told him that they have to separate right now, but she wanted him to go meet her parents, who are throwing a party in a couple of days. He accepted, and then she gave him a bowl, a silver bowl, as a present. So then Yang went to this party that her parents were throwing, and then as soon as his parents saw him, they were like, "How did you get this silver bowl?" And then he was like, "Oh, it's your daughter who gave it to me like a few days ago." A few days ago, she has been dead for 3 years. You can imagine how shocked Yang was when he heard this. Her parents didn't believe him, obviously, but they still found the situation pretty curious because they told him, "That silver bowl that you have in your hands is what we buried her with." While they were having the feast, all of a sudden the bowls, the plates, the chopsticks started to shake. In front of her parents and in front of Yang, she appeared. She appeared as a spirit, and she told him that in fact she had been dead for a long time, but that she was always waiting and yearning for a husband. And thanks to Yang, she was able to finally achieve this dream of hers, and that now she can leave to the other world happily and comfortably. Apparently, she left while reading a poem and with her voice becoming smaller and smaller, leaving this world. Yang continued to pray for her and to do the appropriate ceremonies to help her get to the other world safely, and to help her also be reborn, because being reborn in Buddhism is very important. And she was in fact reborn as a man in another country. But Yang himself never got remarried and always loved her. And I think he lived the rest of his life in Jirisan, not so far from here. These people are excavating right now. Not too sure what this thing is, but maybe the remains of a pagoda. It does look a little cute, doesn't it? Yeah, so the moral of the story is, don't date ghosts. It's pretty clear, I think. Yeah, but a bit more seriously, I feel like regardless of the actual moral of the story in terms of woman chastity, piety towards Buddhism, etc., except from these Buddhist values, it's really interesting to see that maybe in Buddhist collective imaginary, a love story between humans and ghosts or people that come from the other world is possible, since they are still kind of sentient beings and they can interact with us. So a story like this one is not totally fantastical or out of this world, literally. A story like this could have been imaginable for most Buddhists at the time, I think. Guys, we found it. Guys, we randomly found the story that I just told you in the video. Yang and his girlfriend. This is apparently how the board looks like of the game that student Yang played with Buddha. So this is a board of Joppogi. If someone watching this knows how to play this, please let me know in the comments.